the gun. Manning lets it fly. It's caught by Thomas. There's the record for Peyton Manning.
This is our legacy. The stories that we're forever remembered by. The moments that are shared. The history that's been made. You see, here in Bronco country, we know what's expected of us. We've been to the mountaintop before. And we sure as hell ain't going to accept anything less. Now, you just don't get there overnight. Sometimes your body will say, I'm tired. Tell your body to shut up. It takes sacrifice, it takes determination, dedication, resilience, and a hunger that I will not stop until the job is complete. But you've trained your entire life for this moment. You've trained a lifetime to be in this position. It's going to take you looking fear in the eye. It says, not today. Not today. I fear nothing. That's what makes getting to the top sweeter, because you trained a lifetime for this moment, and this moment is now. The stage is set. The nation is watching. The time to rise to the occasion is now. Let's go, Broncos. Let's go, Broncos. Let's go, Broncos.
And what's going on, everybody? Happy game day. It is the first home game of the season for the Denver Broncos. Very, 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 very excited. We got some games going on right now, but I'm joined here by Mr. Glenn Hauser, Dave Glassman, and Cameron Parker joining us on the show today. What's up, guys?
Yo.
I'm excited to see Cam here. This is going to be fun.
Yo.
It's a big deal.
Thanks for that. Yeah. All right, so we're going to kick it over real quick to Mr. Mile High Prophet. He's over there at the very first home tailgate of the season. How we doing there, Prophet?
Gentlemen, welcome live from the tailgate. The fired up tailgate in Broncos country. Hey, Broncos country, make some noise! Make some noise! Oh, no, that's Rescue Rob. Rescue Rob's got this lovely fire truck over here. Let's see. I did promise to introduce you to Justin Surratt's brother, Nick. This is Nick Surratt. Go, baby. Go, Broncos, baby. Let's go. Broncos! That is Justin Surratt's brother live at our tailgate.
Nice.
I do have to introduce my lovely wife, Kristen, and Mary. Over here is Bronco Babe. She is the chef of our tailgate. Bronco Chen, he runs the trailer here. Hey, how you doing? And if you guys don't know, we are a 100% charity tailgate. Anyone who comes to our tailgate puts money in the kitty. It all goes to charity. But there's 150 or so fans here currently. There's probably been 300 or 400 that have come through today. We've been having a great time. There is an amazing energy here today. I'm looking across at the band playing their brass, the drum. It is electric here. Everyone is stopping by. Everyone is just loaded with optimism. The 2-0 start has been fantastic about building an energy here at the stadium. It's been. We got here. Well, I got in line to get into the parking lot at 6:30, and we lined up at 8. We've been serving food and drinks since 9 o'clock. It's just been amazing.
Awesome.
So before we Sidewinder, Prophet.
The Sidewinder, yes, we have a special. I think we just ran out just a minute ago, but a special game day cocktail, the Sidewinder missile to shoot down the Jets. Courtesy of our alcohol sponsor, Trust Me Vodka.
Always got to love the alcohol sponsors.
It is on the door. Oh, there's just a little bit left. Just a little bit left. But Broncos country, if you are looking for a tailgate to enjoy the pregame festivities, you can find no finer tailgate than right here outside of Gate 10 in Lot C.
Nice. So, what do you think the game's going to end up being there, Prophet? What do you predict for the score?
I've been talking to Jets fans, and as much as they would like to show some signs of optimism, they just can't bring themselves to do so. I've heard everything from they will lose by 15. I've heard predictions as high as 30 from Jets fans here today.
Wow.
They are not optimistic at all. They feel confident about their secondary, but that's about as far as they're willing to go.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll let you get back to the tailgate. Thanks for checking in, bud.
Absolutely. I'll talk to you soon.
See you next week. Thank you.
That was fun. I love the atmosphere.
That's the best.
I'm excited. I can't wait.
Well, I was going to say that's pretty on par with what I've been told from Jets fans, because we had a guy from Play Like a Jet on Thursday's podcast, and he said that, we frankly don't care if we lose. All we care about is Zach Wilson plays really well, and that seems a little bit on par. Obviously, you mentioned the secondary, but that seems to be a little bit on par for Jets fans.
Yeah, pretty much.
The kicking game is
fantastic. Muhammad Badri, go Broncos. Avatar, what's up, Broncos country? Ronald Samples, what's up, Broncos country? No name. I like that. That's nice. We cannot count out the Jets today. They have a good D line. I think we'll win, but we need to stay vigilant. Deanna Hendry, I think I said that right. Go Broncos. Travis Tarbox jumping in. Hello, fellas. Denver Broncos for life. Going to my son's house to watch the game.
nice.
I'd go to my son's house, but he lives with me, so I'm already here. So we're gonna jump into the Broncos and the Jets. And what I did was I actually pulled up a Jets and Broncos game preview that was on NFL.com. So we're gonna play that, and then we're gonna dig into the game. Sounds good?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
The New York Jets head west for Week 3, landing in Denver, where they will face an orange crush of fans who are thinking, forget 12, we have Teddy. Bridgewater as Bronco country fired up after dropping 300-plus yards, 2 TDs, putting up a rating over 120.
Throws to the sideline, wide open, it's Sutton again.
Teddy B didn't even have Jerry Jeudy at his disposal. No worry, though, not when you have baby Megatron. Cortland Sutton officially putting his injury to bed, and what a way to do it.
Bridgewater fakes the handoff, he's going to take another chance. And Bridgewater with a masterful pass.
But Denver's receiving core is not a one-man show. That's a deep group they have.
Here come the Jags. Bridgewater gets it out quickly. It's caught. Bats breaking a tackle, and he's in for the Denver touchdown. Bridgewater hit on the release. It's caught near side. Tim Patrick.
They get a Jets secondary that got stuck behind the 8 ball a lot last week. They held their own, all things considered, didn't allow Mac Jones to throw for any scores, and held him to 6.2 yards per attempt.
What a play right there.
Their play, of course, was mildly impressive because of how their offense played. In this case, specifically how Zach Wilson played.
Here comes Wilson, deflected. It's reeled in and intercepted on the play.
So if Bill Belichick and company made Sam Darnold see ghosts, I wonder if Wilson was seeing, Demogorgons, or is it the Demogorgon? Either way, Wilson had an abysmal day. 4 interceptions, no TDs, rating of a lowly 37.
Wilson intercepted. 2 possessions, 2 Jet turnovers.
So now he goes up against a defense that just played the QB who was taken ahead of him. Denver versus Trevor Lawrence. Just 118 yards allowed, 2 interceptions.
Sling it, and it is picked. Intercepted by Jackson.
Wait, there's more. Rating like Wilson's, and check this out. Gave up under 4 yards per pass attempt. When it's that low, the other team should have reverted to the Akron Pros playbook. History buffs know what I'm talking about.
Another deep ball. And that pass, was it picked? Yes, it was.
Maybe the Jets put the ball in the hands of their backs more often in this one.
Tevin Coleman breaking tackles, slips his way inside the 35.
New York was solid along the ground, and the Broncos did give up over 4.5 a pop to Jacksonville.
James Robinson breaking free.
Lots of folks thought the Broncos could make some noise early, maybe build some confidence before they get to the meat of their schedule, you know? On the other side, I need to know if Fireman Ed is the type of guy to call for a win in this game. Is he an optimistic fellow or a pessimistic chap? Game preview guy and Ed haven't ever met, so I don't know. Let me know in the comments section along with your predicted scores. We have our scores here for you as well.
All right, so that's what I pulled up on the game preview for the Broncos and the Jets. So let's start it off with the quarterbacks. Teddy versus Wilson. Are we seeing any shot that Zach Wilson doesn't throw 87 interceptions today?
I don't know about 87, but I will say though we typically sometimes see that doesn't really matter who the quarterback is. If they have a 4 interception performance, they'll have a little bit better performance, that week prior. So I would expect a little bit of a better performance, from Zach Wilson. And I think that's why I'm expecting, in essence, sort of a little bit of a repeat of what we had seen last week. That we'll definitely see the flashes with Zach, and we definitely saw the flashes with Trevor. So I would expect, a little bit better performance from that.
Yeah, and I know that the Jets fans are talking about the Jets secondary, but I mean, does their secondary really compare that much with all the offensive weapons that we've got there? I mean, I know that Denver's got, one of the top 5 secondary, but I mean, we haven't gone against a team that's got as many outside weapons as we do.
No. Yeah. No, absolutely.
It is interesting, Cam, saying that once you've thrown 4 interceptions, there's really no place but up at that point. But I'm hoping that for 5. But just looking at Wilson's stats this year, his yardage isn't as bad as I was truly expecting. It was 468 passing yards, but in 2 games he only has 2 touchdowns and those 5 picks, and that is that's just disastrous. With our rushing pass rush attack and our secondary, I think it's going to be a very, very long day for the Jets. But as the commenter made earlier, this is one of those games where truly everyone expects the Broncos to win, and those are the most dangerous games in terms of likely to lose. I just, during the video, I look over at the TV, and Jacksonville is beating Arizona right now. So who would have expected that? So you can never take anyone too lightly in this league, but I expect this to be a romp.
Well, they say any given Sunday, but our home opener, they haven't.
It's a good movie.
Have they seen this crowd? I mean, it's going to be electric. He's going to have a rough day.
But even to that point, that everybody expects, the Broncos to win. I think that's what sort of makes this a little bit scary, because with the minute that you think everybody's going to win is when you start creating a trap game for yourself. And, I mean, the Broncos got Baltimore next week? So, I mean, it's like you start creating your own trap game for yourself. May not be a trap game, but, I mean, you start creating it for yourself. And you have to, I think that's where the coaching staff has to come into play, keep that team, in check and discipline. And that's also, I think, the blessing of having a quarterback as calm and collected and that veteran presence like Teddy Bridgewater. As much as I've been the Drew Lock proponent, if you will, but the fact that you have a calming presence like Teddy in that, I don't know if I would have felt, as comfortable as I would, and, with say Drew Lock in that regard of a trap game. So yeah, I just think it helps that the Broncos have that ability with that.
Yeah. Mobad saying super chat 1, what was that, quadrillion?
1 billion.
We're not monetized, but we take PayPal, so hit me up. Let's see here. Eddie Henson,
friends and family only.
Broncos are the boom this year. Keep kicking booty. That's how you spell booty.
Right.
Our defense is gonna feast this today. Let's go. KB82 responding to the breakdown. I'm not a history buff. LOL. Okay.
At least he's honest.
I think he said he's on his way. Yeah, heading to the Broncos game now. I'm jealous.
What I'm excited about is this crowd. I think it's just going to be. Yeah. You heard Prophet that's electric. He's already had 400 people through his tailgate, and that's a tailgate that they're raising money, so people are donating. So it's to me, it's going to be so exciting, and I want to see Teddy's calmness will help those guys, I think, corral their enthusiasm a little bit. And I'm not saying Teddy is a Tom Brady type, but one of the best ways that people have beaten Tom Brady, and it's really where he's struggled himself, is that he's gotten too emotional in games. He's gotten so hyped up, and that's where he's made some mistakes in the past. I mean, the guy's the greatest of all time, of course, but Teddy's, I'm really anxious to see.
Whoa.
But, all right, let's get to the point. I'm anxious to see how Teddy keeps calm when the place is complete mayhem. And when Vaughn is out there, and when he's going to be jacked up on the defensive side, it's going to be silent and just absolute bedlam. I can't wait.
Even to that point, Glenn, I think it's going to be very awesome to see that crowd in full effect, that full crowd into effect with how they embrace Teddy Bridgewater, because this is the first game. It was well documented, obviously, with CBS4, the local stations here. But, that this is the first home game for Teddy Bridgewater and the first appearance for Teddy since that game when he was, I think, with the Minnesota Vikings. And it was a really good game. I mean, they relied on the running game a lot with the Minnesota Vikings. But, yeah, it's going to be an electric atmosphere for that Denver Broncos team and the fans. So it's going to be really awesome to see how Teddy gets – a resounding applause from the fans in the stadium.
All right, so let's take a quick swing around the NFL, take a look at some scores. Titans are up on the Colts 14-10. Falcons over the Giants 7-6. Now, this game is interesting. The Chargers and the Chiefs. The Chiefs had, 4 turnovers in the first half? Like, it's been ugly. And the Chargers are up 14-10. Let's see, Bengals over the Steelers 14-7. Browns over the Bears 13-3, and that's with Fields making his first start. I believe he got sacked 4 times in one quarter.
I'm going to make a bold prediction that at this point, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is not going to be, or Elaire is not going to be getting that 5th-year option picked up.
No, and I think 2 of those fumbles were him.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and even I was going to say, even it's also proof you don't draft a running back in the first round.
Yeah, with the last pick.
Yeah. Tyreek had one, and then Mahomes has like a pick or 2. I know one of them wasn't his fault, but
Asante Samuel made an amazing diving catch on the first turnover of the day.
Another cornerback I wanted, by the way. Not gonna.
Yeah. Ravens up on the Lions 10-0. Saints are beating the Patriots 21-3. Jags are beating the Cardinals 13-7. That's a little surprising.
Well, did you hear what happened in that game?
It was crazy.
Cardinals at the end of the half went for a 68-yard field goal.
What?
It landed short, and Agnew returned it 109 yards for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Oh, that's dumb.
Cliff Kingsbury tried to put that in the hands of Matt Prater, and yeah.
And then the Bills are up 27-14 on Washington. That's the football team, not anything else. Let's see here. So one of the points that I saw in that preview video that I kind of wanted to make was they were talking about how the Jets defense was good at holding runners to low yardage, and that the running back for the Jets has been able to make separation. With Josie Jewell being out, what does that do for our run defense? Because Jewell and Johnson were there as run stuffers. Yeah. But with Jewell out, and I'm assuming Sternad coming in, does that change anything?
I think I actually highlighted this a little bit on the Incomplete podcast when I was on it as well. But that is maybe the matchup that I've been watching. Because as we all know, Michael Carter coming into the NFL was more of the receiving threat out of the backfield compared to Javonte Williams, right? And so now you have 2 of those UNC running backs here today at Empower Field, and it's going to be interesting. And I said it before, Mac Brown has this uncanny ability to create a lot of successful running backs to the next level, and Michael Carter and Javonte Williams might actually be fitting that bill. And so I think that this game is going to be paramount to seeing maybe how good Justin Sternad could be, as a potential replacement for Jewell. Strnad had a really good preseason. He's athletic. He's got tremendous athleticism. He can, maybe do a little bit more in coverage than Jewell. For me, it's going to be really interesting to see how he can up that running game. He's done really good. I think in the game when Jewell went down, I think he still ended up with 6 or 7 tackles. So I think for me, it's going to be really interesting what Strnad does. He definitely had a really good preseason this year, and frankly, I think there were some rumblings that Strnad was even thinking about replacing Jewell on that starting lineup. And we all saw how Jewell was doing in the first 2 weeks as probably one of the more underrated players of that defense.
Yeah, we talked earlier about I didn't want to see Strnad replace Jewell. I wanted to see him replace Johnson because I thought Jewell had played better than Johnson so far this year. Granted, it's only 2 games, but still.
Plus, he likes saying honey bear. And
I do like saying honey bear.
But if you think about the Jacksonville game, this defense, our defense, did not give up a point after Chubb went out, after Jewell was out. No Darby that game. So the fact is the defense was strong with the backups in there in a couple of different positions. It's hard to call Malik Reed a backup since he's essentially started the last 2 seasons. But I as well am looking forward to Strnad, and I thought that was pretty cool that his brother was hanging out with the Prophet. So.
Yeah, it's always good to have that family love, even if it's a tailgate.
Mobad, Mundungus, where's that cute baby? Right there. Sitting in the boppy next to me. I got to be a podcasting dad.
A popcaster.
Popcaster. KB82, I think Teddy and Vaughn are key for our team not to get complacent. I would agree. I think one of the reasons why we were having so many leadership issues last year was, number one, we didn't have Teddy, and number 2, Vaughn was out all year. So if you don't have that leadership on the offense and you don't have that leadership on the defense, where's it coming from?
But I mean, to be fair, there were still a lot of leaders on that defense. I mean, and the defense is still played at an exceptional level, even without Vaughn, Justin Simmons being one, Kareem Jackson being another. And so there's still a lot of captains there, but you cannot replace that leadership and captaincy that Von Miller brings. It's next to none.
And where the leadership really becomes evident are the stories that the teammates are telling about what's happening behind the scenes, their personal interactions with these guys. Like when Courtland Sutton is going through a rehab situation and he's saying that Von Miller is sending him videos, of guys that have gone through similar injuries, but they're the highlight videos of their success, after that. Teddy taking, grabbing KJ Hamler from his locker and putting him next. These are things that aren't on the field, but they're all going to be beneficial. And it's hard for someone, like a Drew Lock to be able to do these same things with Teddy because he's the same age as these first year, second year players, at the time. And so it is difficult to have that leadership. And it sounds like Teddy has just been a natural leader and one of those respected guys all along. So it's those two, I couldn't agree with Kenny Booker more that those 2 guys are the key. No. Isaiah, welcome.
Listen, Pookie, you got to let me intro you first and then bring you in.
Well, so Johnny called me.
Pookie just pulled a Kramer. He just busted through the door.
It was like, so the way Johnny said it was like, it was an emergency. I missed the intro and all this stuff. So I was like, uh-oh. I was like, maybe I don't even know I'm here yet. So I was like, let me just get in there. But it turns out you knew I was here. So
no, he just knew that he just knew that I was going to be on this, and then he wanted to.
Cameron was in. It didn't matter.
Yeah,
that's exactly what happened.
Nothing else matters.
Pookie looks like if Princess Leia had a beard. Like, look at him.
I don't know what I don't. Wow. I don't watch Star Wars, so I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
It's a bad thing, but
the headphones along with the beard, you'll get it.
I get it. Okay, I got it.
I don't really know if you can call that a beard either, though. So,
so one of the things I was going to mention quick about Von Miller.
Well, it can only grow so long as I'm in the Army, but you wouldn't know anything about that, Mike, would you?
So one of the
things the guy in the Nasty Girls.
So one of the things I was going to say about Von
I was
Miller
active duty first, so give me some credit.
All right, go ahead, Cameron.
Isaiah's disrupting the podcast already.
Right.
You guys just started roasting me immediately.
You
I didn't
did it again. All right, Cameron, go ahead.
Cameron, I feel like I need the take 4.
Right. One of the things I was going to say real quick with the Von Miller thing is, people get, dog on Von for being this, suck up to, Trevor Siemian, Paxton Lynch, and, all these quarterbacks that he praises. It's like, well, at the same time, as funny as it is that not what a leader would do? I mean, if you want to be the true captain of your football team in the next era of your captaincy in the face of your franchise, the way that Peyton Manning rode off into the sunset, that's exactly what you want to have happen, is you want your star player to be very, very supportive. So I was just going to, throw those little 2 cents in there.
I think that's worth more than 2 cents.
You're right. It's a little bit more than nickel even.
Let's see. KB82. Vaughn has really been involved with Malik Reed. I hear they're really close. They were talking last year too, right? Like Vaughn was with Reed giving him pointers.
Yeah, I mean they were really close, and as it should be. I mean, we know Bradley Chubb went down. Reed ended up stepping up. You should be the one, that gives him those pointers. So absolutely.
Sorry, they flipped to the Chiefs and Chargers, so I was checking it out. Oh, nobody cares. Okay, Avatar. Justin Fields is not looking very good against Cleveland. I would agree, but again, it's Cleveland's defense, and they're not. They don't slack off.
You know who's playing well though? Patrick Surtain.
All right, it's back down to 2 cents.
I had to throw that in there for those people that wanted to hate that pick.
Adam Sears is laughing at Pookie because Princess Leia. Let's see. Case by case sports show. I want to see the run game really flow and dictate the pace of this offense today. I do too, but at the same time, like with Jets fans saying that they're confident about their secondary, I kind of want Teddy to like rip them apart. Just tear their secondary apart.
I agree with case by case. I'm looking at Pro Football Reference, and when it comes to points scored, points allowed, they're low in the league. So rushing yards per game, they're 22nd. They allow 98 rushing yards per game, and their defense allows a lot of rushing yards too. And with the Broncos offense, we are 5th with 130 rushing yards per game. So looking at the Jets run defense and the Broncos run offense, I definitely agree that our rushing offense is definitely going to be the key to winning this game.
It's Vontae time.
Yeah, hey, you want to see something else? Check this out. I prepared. Boom. Passing, the Broncos offense is 10th. Rushing, the Broncos offense is 5th. In points per game, the Broncos offense is 12th. The offense points scored is 12th. Points per game for the offense is 7th, and then defense, which is points allowed, is 3rd.
That's a top 10 offense. Top 10 team.
Wait.
There was no room for special teams on that graphic. Bummer.
That's okay.
We dropped to 32.
Yeah, no, they're 33rd. Alabama's 32nd.
Wow. And then he got the Jets passing offense is 28th. Rush. I think I did passing yards per game 28th. Rushing yards per game is 20th. Points 31st. Offense is 26th. Defense is ranked 9th. So their defense is at least decent. But again, that's why I kind of want to see Teddy and the receivers just kind of tear him a new one.
I'm looking a little confused right now just because, the running game, maybe to us, like the running game just has not been, maybe it seems like not the greatest for the first 2 weeks. Like it seems like it's been struggling.
Didn't think so either.
Right. So to see that high for rushing offense is a little bit interesting. Like
I got it from ESPN, but I did the counting and the math myself. So the mathematicals could be wrong. But
I mean, we just expect
I'm pretty sure I remember how to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Mike has so many fingers and toes.
I've got kids that can use their fingers and toes.
Well, if you do the math on that graph that you just showed us, Mike, and you take up the average, the Broncos, based off those numbers, we're ranked 7 in the NFL.
Yeah.
You take everything together, we're ranked 7.
And I got those rankings on Friday or Saturday after the Panthers, so I didn't count the Panthers because they had 3 games to everybody's 2. So give or take a spot.
I mean, that's still top 10. I mean, that is definitely still top 10. And last I checked, the Chiefs are getting raped by the Chargers. So the Chiefs are getting raped by the Chargers. So
simmer down.
even though the
PG.
Even though it feels like the rushing game has not been on fire, what has been evident is the time of possession and the fact that between the rushing and the passing plays, we've held the ball for a significant advantage in time, and that's something that we didn't have last year. That's going to only help the defense get better, get them rested. The offense, they're not going to get tired. They know what the plays are. It's that to me is what's been one of the keys for the first two weeks is the ability for the Broncos to hold the ball. So,
and I think
I expect that to happen again.
I think that's a huge testament to Pat Shurmur. He's gotten a lot of crap, in his time here, but that's a huge testament to Shurmur. The running game may have looked sketchy. And by the way, for the running game, the Broncos activated Andrew Beck today. I don't know if you guys, so it'll be interesting to see if Andrew Beck gets a little bit of some, Mike Purcell's also active as well. So that'll help out the run defense, who's an underrated part of that. But I think with Shurmur, the running game might have looked sketchy the first 2 weeks, but I think it's the steadiness to keep running the football, to keep that time of possession going. And we saw it even in the Giants game. In the fourth quarter, we saw Melvin Gordon become that dagger. And you really start to see in back-to-back weeks a really good dynamic duo with Javonte, Pookie Williams, with Melvin Gordon. So.
And Eric said the same thing on Friday. For some reason, we say the run game hasn't been what it should be. And 2 things. One, I think just as fans and, us who watch the Broncos constantly, we know the talent what we have, and we expect more. But when you look at the statistics, we're ranked 5th with 130 rushing yards per game. So either we're just we're expecting much more as fans, and we're not really seeing that, hey, we're a top 5 run offense in the NFL. So it's kind of funny how everybody's like, yeah, we're not doing as much, but when you look at the stats, we're like, hey, we're top 5, we're top in the league in rushing.
And it also could be technical just because of the fact that Melvin Gordon did have that 900-yard
yeah. I'll take it. I don't care. I'll take it.
And we're also not taking into account like the Teddy's rushing. Or Theodore's rushing, with the play actions and the bootlegs I'm calling him Theodore
Bridgewater. I like that better.
So we're not. I mean, I think he's 3rd on the team in rushing yards.
Cameron, do you see a situation where they start doing Gordon and Williams in the backfield at the same time and doing some mix up there?
I think I do. And I don't know, when we'll see that. It very well could happen next week. And maybe that's just being still a little bit, Manila in the way that they've been able to run their offense a little bit with the way they've been able to run the ball. But I think that maybe against Baltimore, a really run-heavy, team, it might be interesting to see, the Broncos beat them at their very own game. So I think it would be a little bit interesting. But I think it also would be very creative of Pat Shurmur to do that because, you have 2 backs that do literally the exact same thing, if you will, and well, as far as pass protection. So regardless of who you have as your, running back that's out of the backfield as a weapon, you could have your other guy be your extra left tackle or right tackle on the play, if you will.
Chiefs take the lead on a touchdown.
Have we had a duo of running backs that can block and receive and rush as effectively as these 2 have the potential to be? I was trying to think of that, and
who is the other back with no Sean?
CJ Anderson.
CJ.
Was it CJ?
Yeah, it was CJ Anderson.
Because I mean, you kind of got to. I mean, if you're thinking like an all-around rushing attack, you got to think no Sean and CJ, right?
By the way, underrated stat about Noshawn Moreno. very underrated that not a lot of people know. He's in the top 6, I think, in rushing yards in Denver Broncos history.
Wow.
Is he really?
Is it really?
Really?
So, Cam, why do you rock the 22? Tell me.
Oh. I thought he was going to, like, moon us on air or something.
Oh, that's your own custom jersey?
Exactly.
Oh, you got your own custom jersey. Oh, that's what we're doing now.
Yeah, he's got the Orlandis Gary jersey.
I was thinking Glenn Milburn.
It's
Glenn, your turn.
It's the
Was
movie
Gary
part of
23 or 21?
23.
No, he was 22.
He was 22.
Gary was 22.
Or Ronnie Hellman, depending on who you want to,
Michael Ojemudia last year, I'm 23, baby.
Was that your number when you played?
Yes.
And for me, 22 has always been my favorite number. And so fun fact about me, I never even played football. Like, I never even played football. And so I am, writing and doing all this stuff for the Denver Broncos. So I'm learning a lot from a lot of people and soaking, stuff up. But, yeah, I never played. I was a big baseball guy. So
Well, I was going to throw it to Isaiah and be like, isn't there a height requirement for playing football? Like,
Negative.
Did
No.
you make
Cam, we heard you do play football in the media game, but you're known primarily for layering up, like all the layers of
That's right. It is very evident, even in this podcast, I do layer up. Yeah, I've got like the orange compression pants on still. I've got the arm sleeves, the orange arm sleeves, and I've got, because I'm the baseball guy, I've got the Evo Shield orange, stuff on my wrists. But yeah, I do layer up like Teddy Bridgewater.
You posted a cool picture on Twitter.
That's right.
I'll have to check that out for sure. So.
Sorry, I'm really distracted. Like, my 3-year-old just
Really,
came
you're
up to the
distracted.
door and like kicked it in, and then pointed at me and then ran away. It was like,
You sure you
what
weren't
was that
watching?
for?
You sure you weren't watching the AJ Martinez interception from last night?
I don't like him.
Clearly.
I hate him. I hate him with a passion. Let's see.
Probably a lot of Nebraska fans, honestly.
Mike Anderson and Tatum Bell were a nice duo. They came 40 yards short of both rushing for 1,000. Tatum Bell. I haven't heard that in a long time.
Tatum Bell, Mike Bell. I mean, you go down the line.
So, Cameron.
Mike Bell was a beast. That was a big boy.
Yes, Pookie.
We know a lot of similarities between Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams, but what are their differences? What are their specific differences? Because they both break tackles. They're both big bodies. They can both break out in the open. But what are their differences that make them unique?
I think for Javonte, it's just more his true physicality of how he breaks tackles. Like Melvin Gordon, he's more elusive in how he breaks tackles, and he can definitely show some of that toughness. But for Javonte, he's like a literal built tank the way he runs the football. Like
a bowling ball.
Like literally a bowling ball, like the way that we saw with C.J. Anderson. But I think what makes Javonte so special was he really takes on the persona of his high school position, which was linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
When the way that he plays running back, like when he's an extra blocker, you can clearly tell he's willing to absorb that contact and be that extra blocker. When he's willing to run 15 yards on a 2nd 11 on a run that probably should have been 3 yards, I mean, you can clearly see the legs just continuing to churn, which is also one that they always tell you, even in coaching, to always keep your legs moving forward.
And that run was incredible.
And it's been a really long time since I've seen a run from a Denver Broncos running back run like that with that amount of physicality. So I think that for me, it isn't so much his receiving out of the backfield. It isn't so much, his pass protection, because you certainly still get it with Melvin Gordon. I would just say his just true physical nature, that he's just be able to just absolutely punish teams. Like it's almost like, it's hard to tell through the first 2 weeks, but if you think back to when the scouting department, I believe it was Brian Stark and the running back coach Curtis Modkins, compared him to Ezekiel Elliott and Nick Chubb. What is the one thing, Zeke gets a lot of heat for the way that, he's certainly been used in Dallas, but what is the one thing that we know Ezekiel Elliott that he does so well, and that is pass protect. Like So you certainly see that side of, Javonte with that as his true pass protection. And I think that with Nick Chubb, you can definitely see his ability to be a tough runner the way that he is. So for me, I just say his physicality.
Maybe that's where Miners got the jersey halfway up the stomach thing. Got it from Zeke.
No. Because he's like from Wisconsin. Let's just go with that.
So let's kind of break this down. How do we see Teddy's day going today? Excuse me. Theodore. How do we see his stats breaking down today?
You guys want to go first?
Anybody other than dead silence. It doesn't matter.
Well, I've got it written down from Friday. Who said what? So I'm checking my notes.
I think I said 325 and 3, didn't I?
Yeah, you said 325 and 3.
250 and 2.
252.
250 and 2 touchdowns.
So negative.
250 and 2 touchdowns.
Okay. That's because the running game is going to dominate. That's why Teddy's not going to have a huge day.
Interesting.
So I will say that it'll be under 200, but I will or not under 200, under 300.
Okay, there we go.
I was going to kick you out of the podcast.
Well, if it's under 200, that means the rushing is going to have like over 300 yards.
Yeah, I was like, what are you on?
No, but I would say under 300. But I will say that Teddy will have 3 touchdowns in this game, and you'll still see the efficient play, from Teddy. But I will say, there will come a point in this year where Teddy Bridgewater will throw maybe 4 or more touchdowns due to the offensive weapons that we have on offense.
I thought you were going to say interceptions, and I was getting ready to kick you out again.
You know what? It's the New York Jets. Teddy Bridgewater will throw for four touchdowns today.
Who catches them?
I will say, let's see. Cortland
Sutton, all 4.
I will say Cortland will get one. I say Fant will get one. I say Javonte Williams gets his first career touchdown today. Not passing, but he'll get his touchdown. And then I say Patrick's going to get one. So that's 3. And then
Hamler on a deep throw.
And then Hamler touchdown.
I feel like we're on Oprah.
I was just going to say, you get a touchdown.
You get one. I think I had the offense scoring 21, the defense scoring 21.
Whoa.
Yeah, you did.
I figure fumble.
You're saying a 40-point burger?
Yeah, I said 42-7.
This is
I said 42-7.
Okay.
Okay. And like the only part of that I would change would maybe be 28 to the offense and 14 to the defense. But I'm still sticking with the 42-7.
So how the defense is going to score 21 points? What is that? 2 pick sixes and a fumble recovery for a touchdown?
Yeah.
Okay, so who's getting the 2 pick sixes?
Well, but special teams counts as defense too.
Okay.
Ha!
So kickoff return for a touchdown?
Ha!
So you're saying special teams will actually have a touchdown? Whoa.
No, they'll allow one. Oh. Knock on wood.
Too late.
It's too late. I knocked on wood.
If their special team scores a touchdown today, I don't think Tom McMahon makes it on the. I think he's getting fired today.
He does.
Remember, Lindsay said that it's probably because McMahon walked in on Fangio murdering someone. So I highly doubt. I highly doubt the McMahon goes anywhere. Shout out to Lindsay Bebo and Bree. That was a good point you made there.
Oh my gosh! If you didn't hear that, Zach and Bree were just speechless. It was so fun.
I want to give a quick shout out to Case by Case Sports Show. Last Sunday when I was at drill, I couldn't watch any of the games, so I had to find something, and I had found his audio on Facebook. And I saw him in the chat, and we've been messaging all week to do a guest appearance. So I just want to say that. I didn't know he watched this. He just messaged me and said, I watch you guys every Sunday. I love you guys. So shout out to him for that.
Which I was going to be bringing this up, Case by Case Sports, and I'll be doing live play-by-play of today's game. If anyone wants to come hang out and chop it up, I know everyone will be watching the game, but I do like to do it as a means of chatting it up with everyone and just having a place for fans to hang out during the game.
I'll be there in spirit.
I will be at 2 children's soccer games, so me too.
Oh, you won't be watching the game today? You'll be at soccer, or will you get
on my phone on Red Zone is what I'm going to be doing.
Well, you should consider Sunday ticket.
No, I'm not paying $7,000 for Sunday ticket.
It's $300.
That's $73. It's $73 a month.
You just got to sell a couple more books.
Or I could go buy a Fire Stick and talk to Johnny.
That's what I have. I just downloaded Cody on it and got the whole thing set up. So my wife is watching the Titans game right now. So
nobody cares about the Titans game.
45 minutes, I'm gonna go in there and snatch it from her, but she doesn't know.
Yeah, that'll. I don't see that happening.
It will happen. But what I do is because on my NFL fantasy app, the other one I have, you can watch the Titans game live. So I turn that on the iPad. I set that in front of her, and then I take it. So.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry, she's starting to cry.
What do you apologize?
No. She's just saying go Broncos.
Glenn, what do you got Teddy doing today?
I think he is going to. I don't see 300 just because with the Broncos putting the points on the board that I expect them to, they're going to end up running and wasting the clock a little bit with the run. I see my final score. I expect it to. With the offense, I expect to get 21 points of my final prediction, and so I think Teddy will get 2 touchdowns and 275.
I'd say my biggest. My biggest point is I just want to see better third down conversion rates this week.
Oh,
I mean 2 of 11, which by the way I was on the Incomplete podcast and they said there were 2 of 2 on fourth down. It never even seemed to me that they went for fourth down against Jacksonville. I totally spaced that they were 2 for 2.
Yeah, they're 5-5 overall, right?
6-6, I think. But anyway, which I guess to a certain degree is another reason why it was so impressive that the Broncos were able to put up those 20 plus points, while still being 2 of 11 on third down. But I just want the Broncos to be more consistent, which I think goes to your point, Glenn. I think you will see a steady diet of a lot of runs, and Teddy Bridgewater really become that efficient quarterback still. So it'll be a repeat, I think, of the last 2 weeks. I just think that Teddy gets a little bit under 300 on the day.
Okay.
So Glenn, I've written everybody's scores down.
I was say
Delilah's,
2 points. 1, Isaiah, when you stand up, crotch shot. 2.
I can't stand up because I don't want Kenny Booker to see I'm tucking in my jersey.
I saw that.
Adam Spears is putting respect.
I had to step aside to tuck it in. I don't really.
Glenn, I saw you do that. Are you going to answer KB82 as to why you do that, Glenn?
I don't do that.
Ooh, touchdown Chargers.
Yeah. Adam Sears putting some respect on Theodore's name. Theodore gets 250 yards, 3 touchdowns. Avatar says we're 5 for 5 on fourth. Another name I haven't seen before. Jimmy Heaton Jr. Hey, shh, you're being loud. I am Denver Broncos for life, born and raised. I don't get game in South Dakota. Hello. It stinks. I'm going to move back home during football season.
Interesting.
I am. If you're in South Dakota, then I am close to you, Mr. Jimmy.
Hey, Mundungus, what was your Glenn? What was your final score for the game?
31-7.
31-7. Cameron, what was yours?
Let's see. I said 4 touchdowns, which will put at 28. So I will say
you did that math too fast. That's not fair.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
I can go with that.
But I say 28 to 13.
Dave,
I'm sticking with my previous, which was 35-0. And on the multiplication tables, the real football fan learned the 7s before they learned any other numbers.
I like that. Yeah, for some reason, I have this thing where I started keeping track of everybody's predictions for some odd reason, just to see who's closest and who has the best psychic mind. So I've got Eric Delilah's and everything. So this is going to be fun. But everybody seems to agree that this is the game where our rushing game really breaks out and makes noise. And I think that also opens up the play action game. And since the second week Jerry Jeudy's out, who do we think is going to be, Tim Patrick leads the team in receiving touchdowns? Is this the game where KJ Hamler has his breakout game, or do we think Tim Patrick is going to be the steady hand, or no offense? So who do we think is going to be the?
Your guess is as good as mine. And like really.
And I was going to say, like, going back to Thursday, I had pointed out that in the NFL, Teddy is the number 1 quarterback for throwing passes over 20 yards. So I honestly think it's going to be Hamler on a big throw.
Okay. And is that something consistent with Hamler, or is it just a big catch here and there, or is he going to be the guy that sits down in the zone and catches the ball, and is he the yards after catch guy from now on, or is he? Well,
just especially for today, I think it's going to depend on the Jets secondary, but I could definitely see him throwing 3 or 4 deep passes.
Cam, when you were saying your guess is as good as mine, were you referencing the fact that Teddy has just spread the ball around so much?
Yeah, exactly. and I think it's really easy to choose KJ Hamler because he's your speed guy.
Listen here.
He's your guy that can run 85 miles an hour from all the way to the end zone.
It's like a cheetah.
So
ostrich.
Right. Easily. It's really easy to choose KJ Hamler, and that's fine. It's still a smart answer, but it's just like we saw what Cortland Sutton can do against Jacksonville.
Gosh.
So I think it was a little bit surprising, to see Cortland Sutton that healthy in week 2, almost a year to the day of when he tore his ACL. So. I would not count on Cortland Sutton on a few deep chances today as well. So I would just say, KJ is probably your best bet this week because it would be really nice against another New York team for them to do another deep ball and get a nice little revenge game against the city of New York, if you will, and actually catch a pass deep. So I think it would be really good. And for the Jets side of things. Defensively, I don't want to, for a secondary, lose sight of Elijah Moore. From everything that I've heard and talked to Jets fans that I know that I'm close with, everything that I've heard is that Elijah Moore has been open on every single play. And that's not. Obviously he's going up against our secondary, but Elijah Moore is a guy that was one of the better playmaking prospects coming into the draft, and he's clearly shown himself to be the part.
So,
I see Cortland getting over 125 yards again. I think this is going to be enough.
By the way, I touched on this on Incomplete. Did it seem surprising to you guys that Cortland Sutton had 9 catches and 159 yards, more so that those were career highs? Did it seem surprising to you?
Yeah, I was shocked.
I was surprised on the yardage. I wasn't surprised on the catches.
Because it seemed like, if you look back to not 2020 because he was out, but 2019, where he was like the focal point of the offense of that year, it just seemed like the 9 catches, like he would have already accomplished that by now.
Okay, you're from the reception standpoint, yeah. But I think, it was surprising to me because I was one of the guys that, I don't want to say I doubted him, but I was worried watching him in practice. It always looked like you could see that slight limp.
Are you overreacting like a billion other fans to the Andrew Mason tweet?
I guess you. I
needed a little more context as to what's happening.
I guess you can put me in that category.
I was going to say, Sutton wasn't really used like that in 2019, though.
What?
Like Sutton wasn't really the possession guy. He was more the go up and get it guy. That's what we had. That's what we had Sanders for.
Okay, so you're saying it was just a deep post. But it'd be like 4 receptions for 86 yards.
Yeah, so he didn't really need to have the 9 because the 9 catches, you saw him being used differently in the last game than we'd seen him be used before. Because before it was, run and I'm gonna throw it and you just catch it. Like that's what he did.
That's still a lot of yardage though, and so
right. But the 9 catches is what I'm saying. Like,
I
could see it being like 4 or 5 catches for 150 yards, but the 9 catches. I guess it surprised me a little bit, but because he hasn't had that many catches like that before. But at the same time, with Judy being out, I could see how he got 9. But he hasn't really been used as the possession guy. He's been used as the go deep and go up and get it.
What I took from his performance last week was how fortunate are the Broncos that he had that breakout moment in week 2. So his whatever apprehension he may have had about the stability of his leg, his confidence level or whatever is completely out the window. It's been taken care of with 15 regular season games still to go, going into the meat of some of this, the schedule where we've got, Ravens, Steelers, Raiders, and then the Browns in the next 4 weeks. By the way, the Bengals are killing the Steelers 24/7 right now. 12 minutes left in the game. So
that's Broncos fans are salivating. And I think when you watch film as a defensive team, and you're like, okay, because in 2019, I believe it was the Vikings and George Payton said, when we watch film on the Broncos offense, it was, where's Courtland Sutton lining up? Double him. He makes his great catches. So I think that's going to be the same thing, but except the difference between 2019 and this year is, okay, where's Courtland Sutton lined up? Where's Jerry Jeudy? KJ Hamler's in the game. Tim Patrick's in the game. Noah Fant's in the game. Their run game. So now it's, you can't double team Courtland Sutton because then you got KJ Hamler opening up the top of the safety, and it's different weapons, and it's a good issue to have. And it's great that, and I wouldn't, like I said, I was so shocked and surprised that I backed off. I was like, okay, Courtland Sutton's back. He's ready to go. Let me shut up. I have nothing else to say. Let me shut up.
To your point about the spreading the ball around or the amount of weapons that they have, I think that's what makes also Courtland Sutton's performance equally impressive because Jerry Jeudy's performance or him stepping out, what was everything that we were told in the offseason with Jerry Jeudy's
breakout year?
No.
Bridgewater and Jeudy were like that.
Oh, okay.
Bridgewater and Jerry Jeudy were like, two peas in a pod. And, so the fact that Courtland Sutton was able to put that type of relationship together with Teddy Bridgewater in that week only just reinforces everything you just said. Because at that particular point in time, we know that in that, say, 2019 year, there were arguments that Sutton was frankly a top 5 wide receiver, a top 10 wide receiver, the way that he was being able to perform. So then you put that type of performance that Sutton did as far as baby Megatron, then, like literally you're looking at 2 like iconic weapons that the Broncos had. And I said it on your guys' show, Pookie, about, the wide receiver duo of, who was the better wide receiver duo? Would it be Jerry Jeudy or would it be Jerry Jeudy and Sutton, or would it be, what did I say? It was Emmanuel Sanders.
Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders.
So if that's the kind of stuff that we see going forward, then it's trending in the right direction. And so I think that for the Broncos, it's just going to be, once again, pick your poison. And, because one thing that we also saw too with Sutton, he didn't beat you over the top, did he? Like, he didn't beat you over the top in that Jacksonville game.
Not one.
No, it wasn't like great separation. I mean, he caught a couple deep balls, but it wasn't, but like KJ Hamler mile-long separation.
No, there were no 50-50 balls, I don't think, in any of those, any of his receptions.
And so it was just more like a complete, domination standpoint from Sutton. And by the way, the baby Megatron stuff did not come from me. It came from Emmanuel Sanders and Chris Harris Jr.
I said that about Courtland Sutton?
Yes.
Interesting. And then my question is, how does he – because they're talking about he doesn't get out of his routes that fast. He may not have the best routes. But for some reason, when they throw that post route or that deep route, he's got some type of separation and he goes up and gets it. How is it that a guy that doesn't have that – maybe the Jerry Jeudy quickness somehow creates separation? I'm still wondering that.
It's because he is a good route runner. I think that's the misconception. I think what Courtland Sutton is, he is a really good route runner, and he was able to learn from guys like Emmanuel Sanders and Demaryius Thomas. He replaced Emmanuel Sanders and Demaryius Thomas in a year and a half as the number 1 starter, and not only that,
Emmanuel fought him.
Yeah, and also Jerry Jeudy is making Courtland Sutton a much better wide receiver the way that he's being a route runner. So. I mean, the fact is the sky is the limit for this kid. And if even on a slant route, they say slant merchant for Michael Thomas, but it's just like you throw a slant route to Courtland Sutton, he will stiff arm you almost exactly like Demaryius Thomas. Just ask Rocky Sin or whatever the guy's name is for the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, it was impressive the way that he's able to create separation for himself and really bully people. The way that we sang with Demaryius Thomas and Brandon Marshall for the few times that he was here.
Cam, what do you think of Zach Azzanni and the job he's been doing the last few years for the Broncos?
I think he's probably the MVP coach or one of the MVP coaches for this team. A lot of people talk about it with Mike Munchak and and even Ed Donatel to a certain extent, and Vic Fangio, the way that he's been able to coach defense. And I think a lot of people talk about it, but I think Zach Azzanni is probably the one consistent, position coach that's been able to see a lot of production out of his receiving group. Tim Patrick was a nobody. It's a prime example. Tim Patrick was literally a nobody, and the Broncos were able to snatch him up, and he's become literally Mr. Consistent, almost in the same ways as Rashard Higgins is, to a much better extent with Baker Mayfield. Like, it's just he's Mr. Consistent, for this team, and you can be able to throw it deep, you can be able to throw it, underneath for him. He deserves to be paid. And, he deserves to be paid. And, good on the Broncos on not trading him, and not really, unleashing. And obviously draft capital is a big thing, right? But, good on them on not getting rid of Tim Patrick.
Well, Trinity Benson as well goes toward the receivers position coach. His pedigree and what he's able to do was what he did with Trinity Benson and then turn him into, I think, was it a 5th or 6th rounder?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so
it was the 5th and 7th rounder, actually, I believe.
Yeah, so you got Tim Patrick, and then you got Trinity Benson as well, which is an undrafted free agent, I believe. Undrafted, and then turn into a 5th or 6th.
Party foul! Party foul!
Mike, I can't even. Your face immediately made me laugh.
Party foul!
Look at Glenn.
I didn't even. Hey, look. First of all, I'm not gonna hit end this time. All right.
Stop.
All right. Stop. Second of all, I did not mean to just jump in. I was actually gonna try to go to the green room. All I did was say enter studio, and it automatically put me in here.
Excuse me.
So now that Johnny is in the show, we're gonna go ahead and head out. To answer this question from Jimmy, she's 4 days old. Adam Sears, 30-13 Broncos. We've got, what did I have there? Gary Neighbors said 28-0.
Yep.
28-0. But no, I really do got to go. I've got kids invading the room because it's time to go. So
I think everyone needs to get ready for the big game.
Yeah, we got to get ready for the game. We don't want Johnny to end it. So if I end it before he can,
oh, shut your mouth!
It all worked out.
The second Johnny popped up, Mike was like, "No,
no."
Johnny took off his hat.
He looks like the Farley character driving the school bus.
Shut up back there!
I was gonna say either that or he looks like Cartman all grown up.
Yeah.
No yelling on the bus.
You respect my
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with that. All right, I love both those characters. So
Johnny's got integrity.
I got it. Yeah, I respect my authority. But,
all right, so we're gonna go ahead and head out. Cameron, well, thank you so much for joining us. It's been awesome having you on.
Yeah,
Awesome.
thank you so much.
Good
for
to
guys
see you again, Cam.
Yeah, good to see you. Hi and bye, Johnny.
Don't hit the red button.
No,
Cam, hold tight.
Men in Black.
Wait, hit the red button.
No, don't.
Men in Black, don't touch the red button.
Cameron, where do you want people to find and follow you at? What podcast you on, and where do you want them to listen to it at?
Make sure to intentionally stalk me on Twitter at CameronParkerPO, and you guys can follow the Twitter handle that we have for the podcast at CameronParkerPO, and Manly Broncos is your handle. You guys can also follow to stump my buddies. You guys can also follow Zach Seegers at Zach_Seegers and Matty Moles at Matty Moles Pod.
Or only follow Cameron.
We love Zach. Come on now.
Or only follow.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and head out so we can get ready for this Broncos game. We're going to do a mile high five, and then we're going to step out, okay?
Yeah.
Is everybody ready?
Johnny, let us know when you're at a stoplight, Johnny, so we can.
No,
I'm parked.
I never said anything about stoplight. When you're driving, I don't care. Just do it.
Put your
That's
hands on
right.
the wheel.
Here we go, everybody ready? Mile high five! Done.
Yeah.
Done. All right, we're going to head out. We'll see you guys. Go Broncos. Denver Broncos for
Go
life.
Broncos!
Let's enjoy
Go
some game
Broncos,
day.
baby. Go Broncos.